evening, everybody. Welcome to It's All Black and White TV, and this is the match review, and I'm joined by Roly. How are you, Roly?
Positively Champions League.
Lovely, thank you. If you like what you see, please do smash that like. It really does help the channel stay up towards the top of the search and means new viewers find the channel more easily. So do smash that like, thank you. Also, if you're brand new at the channel, come and smash the subscribe, be part of this great community. Free to do so, and that bell notification tells you when I'm live, have a pre-record or any upcoming shows. If you want to become a member, 99p a month, just click the join button. And if you'd like to make a donation, you can do that by clicking the $sign as well. Okay, so that's sorted out. Let's go into the comments first of all, and then we will get into this, no doubt. Holly says, what a great result and a win. So proud of our lads to win against Arsenal. I can't understand why VAR took so long, though, but at least we got the win. Yeah, Holly, absolutely. Again, we will talk about all that when we get into the match review. There's a few bits to talk about, so we'll do that bit by bit. Mighty Mag says, evening, Tony, Roly, and all. Good evening, Mighty Mag.
Good evening.
Bias says, poor losers, every excuse in the book, had one chance on target or title the bed wetter. Absolutely. He says, evening, Tony and Uncle Roly. Good evening anyway, Bia. Wayne says, evening, Tony and all in chat. Good evening, Wayne. Hope you're well. Is it on yet? We're on now, Ian, yes. And our Roly says, Wayne. Mad Max says, evening, everyone. Gutted Man U and Liverpool man stoppage time goals, but over the moon with a good turn Forest did for us this afternoon. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, I thought Luton were very close, but again, at least Liverpool only got a draw there, which, shows it's...
Nunes missed the sitter. He's terrible in front of goal unless he's playing against us.
Yeah. Gary says, good evening, all you happy campers. Loving the Arsenal fans crying and whinging. Yeah, it's great to see it, isn't it? Not just the Arsenal fans, but it's just the fact that they're just having a meltdown in total. And this isn't you, by the way, because, as I say, I always remember when I was at that game when we drew 4-4. And even though it was a draw, we came out of that game, and the way they've tried to turn on us and try to, get at us fans, and they were pushing the police and everything to get to us. It was ridiculous. And that was just because we got a point off them, So it's nothing new that they're like that, the Arsenal fans. Nothing new. Sorry. All right, lads and lasses. Yeah, absolutely fine, Ian. I hope you're well too, mate. Floods of tears. It's so wonderful. Absolutely. Yeah, Harry, Tony, Roly, and lads, hope you're well. Yeah, absolutely, Ian. Buzzing, mate, aren't we, after yesterday? Gary says, hi, Tony and Roly. You good? Yeah, absolutely, mate. Definitely. Thank you. Hi, Tony and Roly, says Ronald. Hi, mate. Hope you're well. Ian says, good evening, Tony and Roly. Good evening to you, Ian Fleming. Hope you're well, mate. Lee says, evening, Tony and Roly and everyone. Great result for us getting there, buzzing. Absolutely, Lee. Definitely, mate. Absolutely. Talking to each other there. Julie says, good evening, all. Good evening to you, Julie. Hope you're well. And Paul as well. Good evening to you, Paul. Hope you're well too, mate. Wayne says, I'm pissed off to hear about the racist abuse towards Willock. Yeah, not just Willock, Bruno as well. It's just not great at all, is it? It's absolutely disgusting, to be fair. And, it just shouldn't be happening. Shouldn't be happening at all. But the thing is, at the end of the day, they've got a team of mixed nationals and, race or whatever. So I just don't get why they're just being like that. It's just, there's no need for it. But obviously, whoever's done it or whoever's behind it, I hope the police catch up with them, and I hope they're brought to justice. And if they are season ticket holders or whatever at Arsenal, then I hope they lose their tickets, and I hope they're banned as well, because there's no place in society for people like that at all. But the sooner they get an early morning knock from the police, the better.
Well said.
Julie says, yep, still crying. Mark, hi Mark, he says, if Arsenal won that game, you would never hear a thing. No, you wouldn't, absolutely not. Lee says, May got pulled over near Old Trafford in the car speeding. The police said, don't worry, everyone can pick up 3 points, yeah. Not wrong there. Julie says, been surveilled on social media. There have been, Julie, absolutely. Tony, Bruno's well forgot. Yeah, absolutely, mate. And Ronald says, the Arsenal tears are not great drink because they are acidic and they are piss.
Very salty
not
too.
even ticket holders, not even football fans, they're just racist scum. Absolutely, Ian, you're spot on there, mate. And he says, I hope they get caught and do some porridge, says Wayne as well. I mean, look, Wayne, it's the end of the day, it's not right at all. And hopefully that brought to justice, and something is done about it, because believe me, it's not great at all. So as we get into this review, look, I mean, the game itself, it started off relatively well. I mean, look, we started off quite well, to be fair. And within the first minute, we seemed to be on the game straight away, attacking Arsenal. And I mean, look, it was one of those. It was always going to be a game of, like, there would probably be chances in the game, but I didn't think there'd be a lot of chances. But I thought, if anybody's going to win this game, and I did say we would win this game 2-1, so I'm going by the odd goal, because I didn't think it would be a game where we'd go out there and say comfortably win 3-1 or 4-1 or whatever. It was a lot closer than that, I would think. So the game itself sort of hinged on that way, that it was going to be a bit of a cagey game, a bit of cat and mouse in the game. But things did take a turn. I mean, it did get very feisty, and it did get very fiery as well. And certainly, we know it did do on 37 minutes. Because, look, Arsenal were attacking. Eventually, the ball comes up towards Cher. Cher gets on the floor and gets the tackle in. And as he tackles, Cher tackles, the ball falls to Longstaff, who's on the touchline. And then next, what happens? Well, happens to be that idiot who used to play for Chelsea, who seems to have a vendetta against Newcastle United, called Kai Havertz, who I don't know what type of footballer he's supposed to be, because he ain't that good, let's be honest. Decides to go in on this tackle on Sean Longstaff and completely takes him out. Now, my question is, how the hell did he get away with staying on that football pitch after that? And I know a lot of people are saying on social media that, when that tackle come in, it wasn't the foot that left the ground that caught Sean Longstaff, it was his trailing foot. That I don't care, because at the end of the day, it's not the fact that he was high on Sean Longstaff, it's the intent he showed to go out there and actually injure somebody. And even Lascelles said to him, you're trying to do him. And, he knew what he was doing. And then he's standing there laughing as well, thinking it's hilarious. Well, I'm sorry, Kai Havertz, it's not a funny thing to do. And, you should have been off. And why VAR didn't send him off? Because when he went in, it looked like he did leave the ground with his feet, and you did see it. And he should have been off. I didn't like that. I thought that was bad. It reminded me back at Stamford Bridge when he elbowed Dan Burn, and he got away with that one, and then went on and scored the winner against us, which just rubbed salt into the wounds. Last year, he tried to pick a fight with Burn after we beat Chelsea 1-0 at St James's Park. The man is an absolute prick. And, why Arsenal went out and spent that sort of money on him for, I do not know. And last night we saw it again. He decided to go in there with a lot of thuggery. Some ways, yes, that tackle maybe sprung us into life because it sort of lit a blue touch paper, and then boom, the game did spring into life. But still, I don't think he should have been on the field after that. What was your thoughts on that, Roly?
I just thought that it was reckless. I must admit, when I first saw it, I thought his leading leg had hit him, but it's the intent that's the problem for me, because he's gone to do him. The fact that he hasn't, and he's caught him with his trailing leg, it doesn't take away the intent of the challenge. And I thought that was a red, because it's reckless, and the ref totally lost it there. And we had 3 players booked, including the guy, Sean Longstaff, who was actually almost cut in half. But, yeah, I mean, Kai Havertz, I can't stand it. He's a nasty piece of work, especially when he plays us. So there's something that's got in his locker trying to injure a team player. But I did like the way the players all went on and started having a go at him, getting away from Sean. It's just a horrible, horrible player. And I can't understand why Arsenal paid over 60 million for him.
I don't either, Roly. I mean, look, I said this yesterday. I thought Stuart Atwell lost the game last night. He lost himself. His head went last night. He certainly, let's be honest, Stuart Atwell, he just totally lost the plot. I couldn't understand why he decided to book 3 players. All they were doing at the end of the day, they were just asking the question, why is he still on the field? What's going on here? And it wasn't just the fact that he booked, like, say, Lascelles. He booked Longstaff as well, and I'm thinking, have you really lost your mind here? This guy was on VAR duty today as well, for Nottingham Forest Aston Villa game as well. I mean, look, he totally lost the game yesterday, and I think this game was too big for Atwell, if I'm honest. It may be too big for a lot of referees, in fact. But he needed a calm head there, and the way he was throwing out the bookings, I thought, why? Shea gets booked in that melee as well. So does Anthony Gordon, because Anthony Gordon's asking the question, and I just thought, this man's lost. He's just lost it. He's lost the plot, But I thought VAR might have backed him up and said, look, actually, you need to go to the mantle. That's a bad challenge. But VAR just said, oh, no, it's fine. Let the yellow go. Because what they're trying to say is, apparently, it was reckless but not dangerous. But now I think reckless is just as bad as dangerous.
Yes,
because he was out of control. He had the intent of going out there and injuring Sean Longstaff. He had that in his mind. He knew exactly what he was doing, Kai Havertz. He knew.
You can't launch yourself at someone. I don't care whether you intend to do them or not. You can't launch yourself at someone like that, because it's dangerous. The fact that he missed him doesn't take away that it was a dangerous challenge.
Yeah.
And well, that's it. I mean, it's just someone and miss. It's still dangerous.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It is. But I really don't get what what the referee was doing, booking all these players for, But as I say, he lost total control of that game. Absolutely lost control of it. And then we saw, then not long after that happened, obviously, Bruno didn't look himself. Bruno looked like a man
Oh,
possessed.
he lost it.
Um,
He
he put
lost it as
his
well.
he put his elbow into the head of or his forearm into the head of Jorginho.
He was a very
Look, that
lucky
could have
boy.
been a send enough. VR checked it and said nothing wrong with it, and let it carry on. And the referee didn't book him for it. Thank God he didn't. But I mean, look, and then he got into a few more scrapes before half time, and I thought we need this half time whistle because Bruno is going to be sent off at this rate the way he's going on. And we just needed players to keep ourselves calm. But this was all caused by the Kai Havertz incident. What did you make of Bruno when he went in on Jorginho like that?
I think he's a very lucky boy to still be on the pitch. Very lucky. I think possibly what saved him was that they didn't send Havertz off, because they both of them could and probably should have been sent off. I'm glad Bruno wasn't, but he'd lost it, because I think it was not long after Havertz went through him as well, and that's when he really lost it.
Yeah.
And it was a red card waiting to happen. It was just thinking, oh, come on, let's get half time so we can get it out. One thing I think a lot of people haven't mentioned in the sort of vlogs and stuff, how much time wasting that the Arsenal players did in the first half. I've never seen a team go onto a pitch and have so many of them have to readjust their shoelaces.
Yes, Declan Rice.
Not just Declan Rice, there's a couple others just redoing their shoelaces. I'm thinking, you're in your 20s, you're professional footballers. You should know how to tie his shoelace securely.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I couldn't believe when he stopped the game for Declan Rice to tie his shoelaces. I thought, what on earth are you doing? That stopped our flow of the game as well, because we were in the ascendancy of attacking. And we had to wait till he had tidy shoes, which took the sting out of the game.
And then he wouldn't stop the play for some people that went down injured. But he'd stop it for Declan to do his laces.
Yeah. So we go in 0-0 at half time. I'm just going to go through some comments, Roly, and then we'll get on to the second half. Holly says, I thought Livramento was fantastic yesterday. He did well when he came on, yes. David says, hi boys, what do you think about the Lascelles? And do you think he should get a new contract, as I think he's earned it with his performances? I mean, look, Lascelles has played well, let's be honest. I mean, look, whether he gets a new contract, I do not know. Obviously, that is up to the club, I suppose. But obviously, we'll probably be looking for a new centre-back anyway, just to make sure we've got cover in that position, because, we don't know how long Botman's going to be out. It looks like Botman may need surgery now, which is not great. So we're possibly going to have to dip in the market in January to get another centre-back in, because if, say, the instance Lascelles or Share goes down, yes, we know Burn can fill in there, or even Hall to an extent. But I suppose you're going to need that extra bit of strength and depth, especially if we do get through this Champions League group as well. So don't forget the Champions League then starts to come again in February. So, look, yeah. But again, it's one of them. We'll just wait and see what happens at the end of the season. It may be that the club don't decide not to renew his contract. But whether he stays or not, at the end of the day, he's done very well in the performances he's done since Botman's been out injured. So, I mean, look, as far as I'm concerned, yes, he's earned a new contract, but Lascelles might even say, look, because he probably knows when Botman comes back that he's going to have to drop back to the bench. And he knows that, I think, anyway. But he might want to move on and go elsewhere and finish his career somewhere else. Who knows? But we'll just leave it as it is at the moment. He's in the team. Botman's out. We don't know how long Botman's out for. That's the only concern. But have we missed Botman? Not really, because that's the thing. The Cells have stepped in and done so well. And obviously, we can't wait to see Botman back, and we'd like to see him back soon. But, but at the moment, we haven't really missed him. And that's not in a bad way. That's in a good way, because the Cells have stepped up. And obviously, Shares played well in Botman's role as well, considering Shares a right-footed centre-back. So, at the moment, we're doing very well.
I think that the Cells is playing his way into a new contract, not just with his performances, but his attitude. I mean, how long's he been at the club? It's nearly 10 years?
Yeah.
If not longer. So I think he'd love a new contract. He's getting game time. Right? Mm-hmm. He knows where he is in the pecking order. There are a lot of players, especially if they're club captain, that weren't getting games that throw their dummies out the pram. And he's been superb. And his performances have been top class. And I had him as man of the match yesterday. I thought he was immense. And defensively, he's always been a good tackler and good in the air, but he's now calm on the ball. He doesn't panic. And you're not worried when he's got the ball at his feet anymore. I think he's done a really good job. And I wouldn't be disappointed or surprised if they offer him a new contract. And it also gives us time to make sure that we get the right centre half for the future. We've got one of them in Dortmund, but we need another one. And it's a bit like I think if he does get a new contract, it's going to be a bit like Matt Ritchie, that he's there in case of emergency break glass sort of thing. That he's good to have round the club.
Yeah.
So,
Mad Mag makes a good point. He says racism's no place in society, let alone football. Disgraceful anybody has to put up with that sort of abuse in this day and age. Absolutely, mate. Absolutely.
What I think is worse, that Arsenal put out a statement today, and it didn't mention the racist attacks on Joe Willock or Bruno.
We'll discuss that later at Roly anyway. We'll discuss that later in the show. Matt says, hi, Tony, Roly and chatters. Hi, Matt. Hope you're well, mate. Alan says, evening, guys. Great 3 points. Absolutely, Alan. Absolutely, mate. Ronald says, one defender in the comments to Willock and had Saka as a profile pic on X. Another called him a traitor coming to the tune. They're effing mental. They forget Willock played for Arsenal, don't they?
And they also forget that Arteta didn't want him. That's why he came to the team. He's not a traitor. He got kicked out, essentially.
Holly says, I thought that was a red card. Yeah, I did as well. Lee says, can't even believe what a prick of the ref giving 3 yellow cards to us. Exactly. The ref was a freaking twat. Yes, he was, Wayne. Absolutely, mate. Ian says, Arteta needs banned as well with his pathetic outburst. Was ridiculous. Gave the scumbags an excuse to spout their racist hate. He's a complete tosser. Thing is, with Arteta, he should have waited a few minutes before he'd done his interview, because I think he was just too emotional, and I think he may be in trouble for his comments as well. Gary says, I think Havertz was under instruction by Arteta to take Longstaff out of the game.
Nah, I wouldn't agree with that. I think that's
Havertz lifted the crowd, says Ronald.
Yeah.
Mad Max says the way the other players on the pitch reacted is a good indicator that the ref wasn't a normal foul. He's going to end up ruining some lad's career. Shocking officiating. Wayne says it was a leg breaker, that a tackle should have been off, but Bruno was lucky as well. Yes, he was very lucky. Hi, Carl. Hope you're well, mate. He says, I heard from my inside source that Havertz sabotaged the veteran's trumpet before the match, so it was out of tune. Terrible person, in my opinion. Yeah, the trumpets were a bit out of tune at times, but whether he sabotaged, I doubt it. Ian says Havertz is lucky he didn't get a slap off someone in the stands. He is, isn't he? I mean, the way he was just laughing. He just wanted to wipe that smile off his face. Later on in the game, after we scored 3, while the teams around the ref, none of them were booked. Yeah, absolutely. Ronald says, I think Arteta gave tactics to waste time by diving as it were last season. They were constantly falling up, holding their faces and recovering quickly, especially when they got out. Yeah, I've seen that a few times. Just summed up Gabriel Jesus and Bruno Fernandes' play style in a nutshell. Yeah, well, he wasn't playing yesterday, was he, Jesus? He's out injured. Alan says, fancy us to get a result in Dortmund now, confidence will be high. Well, after Dortmund getting hammered yesterday in the Klassiker, 4-0 off Bayern Munich, and Harry Kane bagging yet another hat-trick, which he's now equalled Gerd Muller's goals tally in 15 goals in 10 games and 5 assists. You know, it's not bad at all, is it? He's on course to breaking Lewandowski's record in his first season. Gary Douglas, he says, good evening, Tony, Roly, and everyone in the chat. Good evening to you, Gary. Hope you're well. Ronald says, the Arse Club statement post on X is effing hilarious when you read the comments. Absolutely pathetic and sad. We'll get into that later on, yeah. Bia says, a ref offered Bruno no protection. He was fouled time and time again. Nothing given. Absolutely, Bia. Good point, Roly, about their laces. Gary says, I'm convinced Bruno wanted a yellow, so he was missing against Bournemouth. Less of a loss for the team. Do you know what it is? The yellow card, I'm not bothered that he's missing Bournemouth. I'm really not bothered because we know Willock can start that game. He's had enough minutes now to start that game. And look, I'm not worried about Bruno missing Bournemouth. I'd rather he miss Bournemouth than say miss someone like Liverpool or whatever, you know. So yeah, I'd rather he missed the Bournemouth game in all honesty. So it's no loss really for us because we've got enough players to go in that position for against Bournemouth. Carl says, I'm 31, I can tie my laces all the time. Yeah, absolutely. The salesman, the match for Ronald. The mighty win. Hi, mate. He says, it's payback time. I've never subscribed to the even itself out theory, but maybe, just maybe it does. Yeah, absolutely, mate. Alan says, did not realise how good Livermento was at intercepting opposing players. Them long legs just to reach the ball every time. Absolutely. Good shout, GM. Julie says, they are younger generation fans that are keyboard warriors on social media. Yeah, definitely. For me, we've missed Botman against West Ham and Dortmund, his line breaking passes. Yeah, we've missed that, but again, you know, it's not like it's hit us really hard, has it? You know, we've managed without him, so
we kept loads
just look forward to when he comes back. Sorry, Roly?
We've kept lots of clean sheets without him as well.
Ronald says, the only thing missing from the cells is his danger of the odd goal, but that's it. That's not his role.
He's dangerous in set pieces. I'm surprised he's not sort of had a chance because he normally, well, when he's playing regularly, he's normally good for sort of like 3 or 4 goals a season.
Yeah. Matey Max says, loved it when Tino went in for a challenge and when sliding tackle off the pitch, our subs warming up, cheering him on, the crowd rallied up when that happened. Yes, the cells has been good, stepped up the level. Mark says, I think Newcastle will sign a couple of players in January. I think so as well. We've got a feedback. I think it's Roly's side again. I'll just put you on mute, Roly, for now. Coffee says, hi, Tony, Roly and all. Mafinho comes on, we score a goal. Woo, woo, but he's now out for 3 months, apparently. Yeah, I thought he came back too soon, but again, we're going to get into that when the second half comes up as well. BT, good evening, all. Good evening to you, mate. Hope you're well. Craig says, Arteta's an embarrassment, the same as last year after the 0-0. Yeah, absolutely. What clubs in the Premier League have 8 players out injured and 1 suspended for 10 months? Yeah, definitely. We have a secret player called Tony Nally. Craig says PGMOL have requested players carry passports and birth certificates for snap checks in future games. Wayne says, do agree with Roly though, he was lenient because of Bruno, because of the Havertz situation. Yeah, I think so as well. Gabriel Jesus didn't want to play because he doesn't like crosses, Cecily. I think the keyboard warriors is just cowards. Yeah, they are. They just hide behind the keyboards. Botman's line breaking passes, mighty win. That's one part of his game that's non-existent. Craig says the ref lost the game before the Havertz tackle. Numerous yellows, worthy challenges he ignored. It just went on and on and on. He couldn't control the players. No, absolutely, and I just think the game was far too big for the referee as well. So the second half starts, and things. It was a bit to and fro. Arsenal didn't really have a lot going. When they did come forward, they didn't do a lot with that possession when they got forward. But as a pass comes out from Shea, Joe Linton gets onto it. Then a break, the ball then falls to Murphy, who just puts it across the goal. Looks like it's going out. Joe Willock gets the ball. Looks like he's just kept it in. First I thought, I think that's gone out. And he steps over he goes through the corner flag, bends a corner flag down and does a hop over it. Like used to with bollards when you were a youngster. Puts a nice cross in. Joe Linton's battling with Gabriel at the back post. Ball then comes back out to Gordon, who finishes it off. You're like, yes, that's it. It's 1-0. And as I say, but then we have the VAR check comes up. So VAR checking possible ball out of play. So we're waiting for that check. And they were pretty quick with that check. Next thing, checking a possible foul. And I thought, at this point, yes, here we go. They're looking for a way to disallow us having a goal because they don't want us scoring against Arsenal. They want, they're trying to find a way to disallow this goal. And they kept looking at it, and I thought, this is not great. This is not great. And then, so anyway, eventually they clear that check. They then go on to checking for an offside. By this time, I thought, they're trying to rule this goal out. That's what they're trying to do. That's what Andy Madley's trying to do in the VAR room. He's trying to rule this goal out. And he's trying to find every possible way he can. Because it's inconclusive if the ball was out of play, he can't see that. So he had to give for that. And he couldn't tell if it was a foul on Gabriel or not. Which to me didn't look a foul on Gabriel. It looked like Gabriel was stooping to get the header in. And yes, we know Joe Linton had his hands there, but it's natural in games for that to happen. So then they're checking for the offside, and I'm thinking, well, Gordon's not offside because the last touch of that ball, anyway, it comes off Gabriel. So technically, if that's come off an Arsenal player, Anthony Gordon's then not offside because it hasn't come off our player, it's come off the opposing player. So we're waiting, and eventually Stuart Atwell blows a whistle, points a centre circle, cue the celebrate. And yes, there it was. Anthony Gordon was able to now celebrate his goal that he scored yesterday, and what a goal it was. It was just, yes, it was a tap-in. But he took it and he had to put it in the back of the net. And that put us 1-0 up. And it was absolutely fantastic. We went 1-0 up. Arsenal players were crowding the referee. They weren't happy about it. Gabriel whinging. But, the things in that goal was, one, David Raya made an absolute balls up of trying to get near that ball. He was out of position. He's been a poor keeper since he's gone to Arsenal. So he made an absolute cock up there. Ben White should have closed Willock down for getting that crossing. He didn't. because he was too interested that had it gone out of play. So it was our own downfall that we scored against them. Not that we care, because it means we were 1-0 up in this game. And I mean, Roly, I'm going to come to you. I mean, what was your thoughts going through your head when VAR was checking every possible angle? I mean, before I do come to that, I will put this on screen as well. Just to clarify. Now, if you look on that picture, you can see, and we've all seen the pictures. This is from Behind Sports, from our friend Hairy Hands, Richard Keys. But as you can see there, curvature of the ball is actually still in play. Yes, it's only a slither, but it's in play. So technically, that ball is not out. This reminded me of the Japan-Spain game, when Japan scored and Spain tried to claim it was out of play. And it was very, very similar to that. Roly, give me your thoughts on the goal and the VAR checks as well, and what was going through your mind.
Well, the first thing that came to my mind is take your hats off for Joe Willett for not giving up on that. Because if he gives up, that ball goes out of play. But he made sure he got there. You say if the ball's overhanging the line, just because you can see grass between the ball and the line, doesn't mean it's out. I mean, I think it's Dermot Gallagher said that when you look at players taking corners, the ball is outside of the quadrant, but if it's overhanging, it's perfectly fine. So that's the first one. Second, the Arsenal players stopped because they thought it had gone out of play. And then they switched off and didn't try and close Willett down. Raya made a hash of that. He'd gone too far towards his near post. So when the ball came in, he was out of position and flapped at the ball coming in. And this is one I've been thinking about it. And the more I think about it, the more I understand why I think that the Arsenal fans are saying, are crying a river. The so-called foul on what's it called, Gabriel. I've heard people say, if that happened anywhere else on the pitch, it would have been a foul. Well, you look at the stuff that referee wasn't giving fouls for both sides. It would have been a travesty if they'd given that as a foul, because he'd let a lot worse go in open play. So I'm not having that, it's a foul. Some of the challenges that went in that weren't given as fouls were far worse than that. So he set the standard for a foul so high, he can't give that as a foul. Offside, I don't agree with your point that it came off Gabriel, so he couldn't be offside, because they've said that, like in the Forest game, he's got to be making an attempt to actually play the ball. That Gabriel clearly wasn't. But I believe that Gordon was actually behind the ball. If he's behind the ball, yeah, he's not offside. If he's behind
but it did come off Gabriel as well, so that's what I'm saying.
I don't think that makes any difference. I don't think that makes any difference under the rules that they stand now. And if he's behind the ball, he can't be offside. And they said they didn't have an angle where they could actually put a line to ensure. So that's a good goal. You can cry about the foul, but if you look at the entirety of the game, you can't tell me honestly that if that had happened anywhere else on the pitch, we'd have got a free kick, because it didn't happen in this game because the referee was shy. He let everything go. I mean, he didn't even give a free kick or book Bruno for his arm to Jorginho's side of his head, and VAR let it go. So if that's not a foul, there's no way that Joe Linton's hands on Gabriel was a foul. I think that's the right decision. And I mean, all the Arsenal fans and all these pundits go cry me a river. I think they came to the right decision with the evidence that they had. They couldn't with the angles they had. They couldn't say that the ball was definitely out of play. You can't guess. So if you're not sure, you go with the on-field decision. As the way the game went, and what the ref had let go, it'd be harsh for him to give that as a free kick, because if it happened anywhere else on the pitch, he wasn't giving it. And they couldn't definitely see where, because Gabriel and Joelinton were so close together, they couldn't see to determine definitively that Gordon was on or offside, so they have to go with the on-field decision. Right. Mm-hmm. If it was against us, I wouldn't be happy. But when you look at it rationally, you can see why it was given. There's something a lot. It's one of the guys. Oh, I forget his name. On Arsenal Fan TV, and he's saying, "Well, forget about the goal. They had one shot on target in the whole game, and that was a tame one straight at Nick Pope. You should only have one shot on target in the game, and you lose 1-0. You can't be thinking you've lost 3 points because you haven't, because you didn't score." But I'm getting a little bit fed up with these people saying, "Oh, it was a foul. It was out of play. It was offside." And I know it's your narrative is they look like they're looking for something to disallow the goal. And I did have that feeling, but I'm sure all the Arsenal fans were thinking exactly the opposite, that they're looking at reasons to be able to give it. But no, I'm not buying the foul line, because he'd let worse go in open field, and he'd say, "Oh, you can't say that if it was outside the area, he would have given the foul, because this guy blatantly wouldn't, because he let worse go." So yeah, I'm happy with the goal. I think it's a good goal. It's. I think we worked for it. I mean, it's one of those games. It's such a tight, two really evenly matched teams going at it hammer and tongs, and I think at the end of the day, the team with the more desire and the more togetherness won. And
I mean,
game of small margins, and this time the margin fell our way.
Yeah, I mean, look, we all heard Gary Neville talk in that commentary, and he kept saying, "This can't be ruled out. This can't be ruled out." And then this is coming from an ex-pro who won a lot at Manchester United. Yes, some people don't like him. But I thought yesterday we heard it from the heart from Gary Neville. And, you know, when he said, "If they disallow this goal, then I'm done with football." And I thought, wow, for that man to actually come out and say, "If this goal's disallowed, I'm done." I'm like, wow. And I thought he was absolutely right, because, you know, it took 4 minutes. Now, the thing is, I haven't got a problem that it took 4 minutes for VAR to do that decision, Andy Madley. And, okay, he went through 3 different items. He went through ball out of play, foul, offside. Now, I don't care if it took 4 minutes, because at the end of the day, they've come to the correct decision. They have eliminated each individual thing that they want to look at. And I thought that was well worked. Now, everybody's been out there complaining about VAR, saying, oh, it's not fit for purpose. You know, they're not getting decisions right. They're not doing this, not doing that. Or they're having a quick look and they're moving on. Some people are saying, oh, they're taking too long. But yesterday, we saw it working great. We saw it work wonderful yesterday. And hats off to Andy Madley for that, by the way. You know, to look through 3 different events to then come to the conclusion that that goal stands. And yes, it may have took over 4 minutes before Anthony Gordon could finally celebrate again. But this is where VAR works better. And I hope a lot more VAR officials now look at what Andy Madley done yesterday and take note and sit there and think, actually, yeah, we need to do this a bit more carefully now. But that was well done from Andy Madley yesterday. Not my favourite referee, by the way, but he got that decision spot on yesterday. And, you know, that's how we want to see VAR working. We want to see it work in a way that they're going to come to the right decision, whether it takes 2 minutes or even 10 minutes, as long as they come to the right decision. That's the main thing. If they turn around and said it wasn't a goal, fair enough, you move on and you just carry on. But the goal stood, and I applaud Andy Madley for taking his time to look through it, because we've seen too many. We've seen Anthony Taylor got demoted to the Championship yesterday because he gave us that penalty last week, which is, you know, it wasn't a penalty, and I think we all know it wasn't a penalty really. Look, and then the other thing is as well, we've seen where Darren England didn't give Liverpool that off goal that was never offside on VAR, and he was taken off duty for a while. So that's where I'm saying yesterday, Andy Madley got it right. He took his time, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how long it takes, because the time can be added on at the end. So, and that's exactly what he did. And I applaud Andy Madley for that. And I say, well done. And I hope a lot more referees take notice of this now.
It's one thing I'd like to say about the game in general is that this morning I watched quite a few of the Arsenal podcasts, AFTV, and a few others, and there's only one that was really moaning about the result. I think AFTV, one of them felt that there was a foul on Gabriel. He's entitled to his opinion. It's one of those ones where I can see why they think that. And if it was against us, I'd probably think the same. But most of them were basically saying that they weren't good enough to win the game. Lead judges. There's the guy on ASTV was really blunt about how bad they were and didn't deserve anything from the game. But most of them were really, really fair on their assessment. They all thought that Havertz was lucky to stay on. I think there's because it was his trailing leg that caught Longstaff. That the reason why he wasn't given a straight red. Obviously, they said about Bruno, but they didn't sort of go overboard on it. And basically, they're saying that their attacking players, Saka, Nketiah, and Martinelli, hardly got a kick all game. So I thought that's actually quite refreshing that people from the opposite side are actually giving a fair and reasonable assessment of the game. Because there's one guy, I forget what channel it is because I'll never watch it again, who's saying that we played like a rich Stoke City. I was thinking, what game's he bloody watching?
Yeah. John Southern says, only here, lads. Sorry I missed things, but ref was terrible. We fought so well. Nothing wrong with the goal. Arsenal manager was a disgrace. Online abuse for our Joe and Bruno. Disgraceful. No racism. Absolutely, John. And welcome on, mate. Yeah, we've just been talking about the game. And Ryan says, Arteta still crying. A couple of weeks ago, it was officials make mistakes. We must support them. Now a decision goes against them, and the officials are a disgrace. The supposed top teams are getting rattled. They absolutely are. And it was DB Roly, says Mason as well. I mean, I mean, look, we held on comfortably. We saw, you know, towards the end, when Joe Linton kicked the ball and it came off Rice, went out for a throw, and we saw Joe Linton celebrate that. And then, he celebrated that like it was another goal. Livramento throws the ball, referee blows the whistle, full time. Now then, but what you've got to look at as well is we got our tactics in that game spot on. And the reason I say this is our defensive display was absolutely spot on. So if you watch the game, you will see we done things in. So at the back, so at right back, you've got Trippier up against Martinelli. But if you notice, Almiron was getting back to help Trippier out. So when Martinelli tried to do any creativity with the ball, the only way he could do it is the only option he had was to put that ball in the box, which when he tried to, didn't go anywhere. And the same on the left side. You had Byrne, and then Anthony Gordon at one point ran up that pitch with some pace and got up there to help Byrne out. When Saka tried to get the ball in, he could only put the ball in the box, but it didn't go nowhere. And when you look at that, we've played really well. And then you see it in the second half when Livramento's on and Ritchie comes on. And I know some people moan about Matt Ritchie, and I don't know why, because I don't think he's that bad of a player. Yes, we know he hasn't got the legs now, but he's got a brain, and he's got one hell of a brain, and he's a leader. And if you watch Matt Ritchie yesterday with Livramento, Matt Ritchie was up against Martinelli, and he was pointing to Livramento where he wanted Livramento. And he said, I want you there, I want you there, I want you there. Talking to Livramento constantly, get there, get there. So when Martinelli did get past and push the ball past him, Livramento was in the right place to cut that ball out and see it out for a goal kick and draw foul from Martinelli as well. So, so when some people say they're not happy about when Ritchie comes on, he does play the role well. And, he is one of the senior pros at the club. And I just thought that defensive display yesterday, that stifled Arsenal. If you look at Saka, he gets his shots in normally. In this game, he didn't have anything. No expected goals because there was nothing for him. And for Arteta to say they lost out on 3 points because of that goal. Well, I'm sorry, where did you get the 3 points from, Arteta? Because at the end of the day, if you wanted to take a draw, you've lost 2 points, you could say, but you've not lost 3 because you had one shot on target all game. One shot. And if you think one shot on target's going to win the game, you're sadly mistaken.
I'd just like to just say a little bit more on the defensive display. I don't know if any of you guys have watched Match of the Day. If you haven't, go on iPlayer and watch it. And Danny Murphy did a brilliant assessment of how we did defensively and how we stifled their creativity. It was just superb. It's basically covered what Tony's just said, but obviously with the actual graphics to show that when, say, Almiron couldn't get back, Joe Linton was covering that space, and if Gordon couldn't get back, Longstaff was covering the space, with several graphics to show that when one was coming back, one was taking the deep, so he couldn't go deep, and they're stopping him trying to cut back inside. It was just superbly well drilled. It's really worth taking a look.
John says, Roll, I'm down to my last glass of wine. Local shop closed. Hope you have more, brother. Wayne says, Tottenham will be rattled tomorrow, lads. Even though I cringe seeing it because I'm not much of a lover of London teams. Mad Max says, fuck it, Roly. Fuck it, if Roly's having a drink, I'm cracking one open. If the missus says out, you're getting the blame, Roly.
Yeah, Mad Max, tell her you got permission from me. No
one has a clue. to what to expect from Chelsea makes it a difficult game. It does. But do you know what? I just think Tottenham will win that. I've got the feeling just the way Chelsea are playing.
Chelsea.
I mean, they're rattled anyway because their fans are now claiming the Carabao Cup draw was fixed because they said it's to fix that draw because they got us in it and they're not happy they're breaking it.
That's because they thought you'd get Liverpool like I did.
John says, correct, Tony. It would only have been a point, and Danny Worthy spoke well. Yes, he did, absolutely. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I don't know where Arteta has got that idea from, you know, of like, oh, they lost 3 points, you know. Ronald says, Danny Murphy was class before political activists Lineker and Frankenstein put their views over on Match of the Day. Look, the thing is, Martin Keown is always going to have something to say because Martin Keown was Arsenal through and through. So at the end of the day, he's not, you know, he's of course he's going to say that goal shouldn't have stood and it was a foul all day over Gabriel because he's an Arsenal man, you know.
Not just that,
we know he played for Villa as well, but he's an Arsenal man and he was always going to say that. Craig says we had a few chances to get a shot off in the box, but it wouldn't fall right for us. Arsenal had nothing in the box, barring Saka out wide, which we shut down. Absolutely. Look, I thought when Livramento came on, I thought he played quite well.
Yeah, I thought it was good.
You know, Trippier moved to left back. We know Trippier can do left back because he's done it for England. So I wasn't too bothered about that, to be fair. Joe Linton, then when he moved to the left, he helped Trippier out at the back as well. But yeah, look, we stifled Arsenal and we sent them home packing, you know. We took the 3 points. They haven't got it. I know that Robbie off EFTV said on one of the other channels last night, you know, Saudi money's bought far again, has it? And then I think he was joking about that, or I hope he was anyway.
He was. If you look, I think he was with there's a guy from the Magpie channel, Magpie TV.
Yeah.
Matty. Matty, that's it. They were having a laugh, so I'm sure he was joking.
Yeah, I'm sure he was as well, Roly. I mean, look, we've all heard from Arteta, you know, Gary says we showed we can beat the top team, the top 4. They're uncomfortable about us. And Craig says after 20 minutes, knew it would only be 1 goal that won it. We got it done. End of story. Absolutely. I mean, look, Arsenal didn't like it that we beat them, did they, Roly?
No, they didn't. But one thing that I would say for Arsenal, I thought that Gabriel and Saliba were superb at the back. They made one mistake and it cost them the game. Was Gabriel wasn't strong enough to clear that cross, which he should have done, and we scored. I thought Declan Rice again was immense. He must be the best central midfielder in the country. I think he was just superb. But defensively, both sides were solid. It's a battle, literally a battle in midfield. I think one thing Arteta said that was true, that it was a game of small margins, and it was. One mistake cost Arsenal the game. When you're playing top teams, it can literally be one mistake cost you the game, and it cost them. It was an interesting game to watch. I think once we took the lead, I didn't think there was any way Arsenal were getting back into the game because they created nothing. At the end of the day, if you don't create, I mean, we didn't create a lot. We had 2 shots on target, but we scored 1. It was a midfield slogging match because it gave a few chances, and it just takes one mistake to to cost you the game, and unfortunately for us, Arsenal made it.
I mean,
It's one mistake. It's a number of mistakes all in the same passage of play.
we heard. Like I say, we heard it. This is just from obviously a bit of yesterday. I'll just play this through the mic, and then you'll obviously, it's a bit of saltiness from Mr. Arteta in it.
Praise for the performance and the way we played, and we didn't deserve to lose the match playing in the round, and then we didn't lose the match because of the clear and obvious decisions. It's embarrassing. It's a disgrace. That's what it is, a disgrace.
Will you be taking this up with PGMOL?
Yeah, we've been taking it for many months. There's so much at stake. We put so many hours. I'm here to represent the football club and to get my team to compete at the highest level.
I mean, look, for him to come out and say it's a disgrace, it's an embarrassment, that he's going to take it up with PGMOL for months. How many months are you taking it up with PGMOL for, Mr. Arteta? How long are you going to take it on for them for? I'm sorry, Arteta, you're a disgrace. You're an embarrassment. And then for him to even say they call this the best league in the world, and I'm like, hang on a minute, you need to watch what you're doing. And then and then he's sitting in the press conference afterwards in the press room, and they're asking him something, and he says, then he goes on about China, Japan, Portugal, Spain, Italy, wouldn't happen there. And I'm like, why do we need to know that? Why do we need to know what happens in Japan, China, Portugal, and that? This is England, the Premier League. It's nothing to do with the rest of the world. It's the Premier League, If he doesn't like it, do you know what? Walk away, leave the club, go, look, his hair looks so false. It looks like he dyes his hair. He must use Grecian 2000. He's just a sad, bitter man. That's what he is. And because we've lost our first game of the season, he's crying over it. Get over it. We've lost 3 games this season. Did you see Eddie Howe stand there in front of the cameras and say, oh, it's a disgrace. We lost this game. We lost. No, Eddie Howe didn't say that, So at the end of the day, I get he's upset after the game, but maybe what Arteta should have done was, before he opened his mouth, he should have just stayed back in his dressing room, in the changing room, and said, actually, I know I'm really, really annoyed, but what I'll do is, before I actually go out there, I'll think what I'm going to say first. But he didn't. He just went out there, boom. And that's where I think the FA may come down hard on him now. And if they do, he'll have to take whatever punishment comes to him. I'm just going to go into some comments.
Okay, just before you go into the comments, just on Arteta. At the end of the day, that goal came because of mistakes Arsenal made. They gave up on the ball, thinking it was going to go out for a goal kick. When it wasn't flagged for a goal kick, they didn't press Willock. Then Raya was out of position, so he couldn't cut out the cross. And Gabriel got out-muscled at the far post. So there are 3 mistakes that they made that cost them the goal. Any one of them, if they hadn't given up on the ball, they can stop the cross coming in, there's no goal. If Ria's properly positioned, because the cross was really close to the goal line, he catches that. And if Gabriel had actually attacked the ball, rather than just sort of stand up, they clear the ball, the game ends 0-0.
Yeah.
So he should really be blaming his players rather than the officials.
Yeah.
It's quite easy to blame the officials rather than take it out on your own players.
Well, that's it. Excuse me. John says, lads, teams for Wednesday predictions. It's Tuesday, actually. I think it'll be a tough game. But do you know what? Who wants this game more? And I think it's us, because Dortmund probably don't want this game on Tuesday. Not after the hammering from Bayern Munich. So Dortmund are probably the ones who are thinking, we'd rather not have a game on Tuesday, we'd rather have a full week off and then get back to Bundesliga action next weekend. Us coming off the back of this hard-fought win over Arsenal, we want we want this game more. So yeah, what's your thoughts, Roly?
Oh, it's going to be a tough one. I'm just seeing it's a 5:45 kickoff as well. Yes, a lot of it will depend on what sort of bounce back ability that Dortmund have, how they react to getting thumped by Bayern. But we're in great form, so it's going to be an interesting game. Hopefully that we can get revenge for the game at St James's Park where they shaded it. And they took their goal really well and defended like Trojans. So hopefully we can get revenge on them. But it's going to be an interesting game. I think that's the starting lineup will be the same as Saturday's, except for depending on how Dan Burn has how bad his injury is. If he's still sore, I think they start Livramento and have him at left back. And in a way, that might be better because of the pace that Dortmund have on the break. Not that Byrne got burned, excuse the pun. It gives us a little bit more speed at the back, which would be helpful. It's going to be a tough game because it's Champions League game. So,
yeah. Craig says, beat Man U and Arsenal a week. Also beat PSG and City this season. Wonder what Eddie's got us for Christmas. Yeah, Saliba was immense world class, says Gary. Yes, he was. David says, it says something when hairy hands, Richard Keys. Says the ball wasn't out, most killed him to say that. I mean, look, we all hate hairy hands. We can't stand hairy hands, you know. We all know why him and Andy Gray got taken off Sky. We know that. Because hairy hands couldn't keep his hands to himself. But this is the same man who tried to stop our takeover as well. And failed, by the way. So you can go back to supporting his Coventry team with his mate, you know, who used to be the chairman of the Premier League, Gary Hoffman, because they both stand together on the terraces at Coventry. Yeah, I mean, look, it must have nearly choked him to say that. You know, it must have. John says it was old school game. Mad Max says, I like Rice, but he deserved a slap yesterday. Sorry, but he paid me off a couple of times. Yeah, he did. The Arse centre-halves played well against Callum, and more centre-halves was immense. I mean, I didn't think Callum Wilson had the greatest game yesterday. He missed that one chance. Yes, okay, the offside flag went up, but again, it would have been checked had he scored. That's why the linesman kept his flag down. But I didn't think Callum Wilson was that effective yesterday, to be fair. And when he took him off, I thought, well, he's resting for Tuesday.
Yeah. In a difficult game, because the Arsenal centre-halves were, they are and were really good. I thought at times he held the ball up quite well. He hardly got a sniff, but there again, really none of the attacking players on either side got a sniff. So I think you may be doing him a little bit of a disservice because he battled away against some really good defenders.
I'm not saying he didn't battle Roly. I'm just saying he just didn't see himself yesterday. That's all.
I think that's more to do with the players he was up against than him being off sorts, because they marshalled him really well. They were as physical as he was. I think sometimes when you look at strikers and they don't do much, it's not necessarily because they're having a bad game. It's just how good the players defending them are. came up against two of the. I mean, when you look at the defences, you've got two of the best defensives in the league. So, your attacking players are going to struggle, and it's not necessarily because they're playing badly. It's just they're not being given the opportunity.
Mhm.
It could be that they're not going to get the service, which Callum didn't. And to be honest, none of the Arsenal players really got any service because there are a total of 3 shots on target in the whole game. It shows you how good the defending was on both sides. So I think that is a little bit harsh on Callum.
John says, well said, Tony. He's feeling the pressure. Arteta. AFC always. Hi to you, mate. He says, Arteta is just trying to use VAR as a way of diverting the attention away from his criminal tactics and his style of football. Well said, mate. It's actually nice to see that an Arsenal fan is actually seeing it the other way rather than actually, saying that they were robbed. At least you're being honest about it. Look, you haven't got a proper striker as well. You got no Jesus, he's out injured. Yes, you got Nketiah, but he has been on form, Nketiah, but he didn't have a sniff yesterday.
I think with Nketiah, it's what I call a flat track bully. For those of you who aren't cricket fans, a flat track bully is a batsman that scores lots of run when the pitch doesn't do anything. So the ball doesn't bounce much and it doesn't move. Where when they come up against a bowler on a pitch that does a little bit for the bowler, they get out easily. But they only get loads of runs in certain circumstances. When everything's easy and right for them, they score lots of runs, and I think Nketiah is that sort of striker. In a game like when he's playing the Sheffield United of the division, he's going to get lots of chances, so he'll score lots of goals. But when he comes up against a good side, it's not that easy for him.
Julie says we can send him to China if he wants. He won't get any shit there. Pep's Spanish and he behaves much more mature. Absolutely. Craig says thanks to EFC. He'll be Arsenal's downfall too. Emotionally invested. Don't get me wrong. You need passion, but he's obsessive. Absolutely. Wayne says Tony uses boot polish on his hair. I thought it was 8 as well. You could be onto something there. EFC says, look, VAR was shocking, but our performance was even more shocking. Fact. There we go. Julie says, didn't seem to be like that when he was a player or when he was at City as a number 2. No, he's got on stupid. You would have thought he'd have learned from Pep, but obviously he hasn't. EFC, do you think he spent 700 million well? Predator, hi mate, not seen you on the channel for a while, mate. Hope you're doing well. Alright lads, hope you're both well. I'm still drunk on Arsenal tears. All these beautiful, beautiful tears. As a player, he made Everton look decent. Yes, he did.
Yeah, he's a good player.
Craig, he says, no, I don't. He says, our recruitment is piss poor, says EFC. Mad Mag, make a note of the earlier kickoff for the Dortmund game, please, everyone. I didn't realise till earlier. Yeah.
It's a 5:45 kickoff.
I'll be on my way home following the watch along on the bus. EFC, I feel the same, but a lot of your fans don't see it. He's just a great coach. By taking ID is if you, whatever that is. BT says, previously Arteta has spoken in favour of the referees, saying referees are trying to make the best decisions, but we understand mistakes happen. Yes, that was after the Liverpool debacle, and as soon as something's gone against him, he doesn't like it. He spits his dummy out. Hence why, on my thumbnail, does everybody like that thumbnail, by the way, where I've got a head on a baby Arteta with his nappy on. Predator says few. BT, yes, the clips have been posted to Twitter by Liverpool fans. EFC, Arsenal says, bend it like rice. Seriously, our fan base is a major part of the problem. Julie says, Keys isn't as bad since takeover. Well, no, because he's had to accept it, Julie, hasn't he? EFC says, Rice was babysitting Jorginho and Havertz in midfield.
He wasn't doing a good enough job at controlling Havertz. Should have put him on the naughty step.
Alan says, I'd start Livramento 2 starts, 2-man the match. Arteta doesn't usually pick him. Havertz is one of the world's greatest mystery, and some of your fans just gas him up so much. EFC says, making Jorginho captain, that's a sackable offence straight away. Well, if you remember back in the Euros when we played Italy in the final, Jorginho didn't like the fact that Pickford saved his penalty, did he, at the time, because he tries to do this fancy kicking where he just like takes little steps and pretends he's going to hit the ball, and then, you know, he does this little hop, skip, whatever it is. And because Pickford stood on his line till he literally kicked the ball and then saved it, he didn't like that. That pissed him off as well. If you notice, if you ever see that, go back and watch it, and you see his face. He is not happy that Pickford saved that penalty because he thinks he's got the right to score every penalty. Rice was good as captain at West Ham, so why not him? Yeah. John says, Tony Roly, you lads, just like a couple of lads sitting in the living room chatting with a drink. That's the way we are, mate. Absolutely. Thank you very much indeed. So 6:15 kick off. Our fan base are delusional, says the FC. I know I've drank amongst 20 of them for 20 years, mate. Sai on Facebook, hi mate, he says, Arsenal rats, they played well, but when we played better then they started dirty tricks, especially after the goal was scored and awarded about time. VAR worked for us for a change, and how are the lads? Yeah, absolutely, Sai. VAR worked for us for a change, and you know, the time was added on as well. Splat says, thank you for your honesty to Arsenal. Do you know what? Yeah, absolutely. He's getting some great comments in here tonight. Why in the bus, Tony? Everything all right, mate? You used to drive on the morning vlogs sometimes, didn't you? Why in the bus? You're not on about Julie because she's on about the bus. I'm not on the bus, mate. No, I drive. Yeah, I should do some of those morning vlogs again. Yeah, probably more once the transfer window opens.
Oh, I think he's
EFC always.
Tony, I think he's talking about when you did the morning Toon fans vlog. You used to do it in the car, and so he's wondering if you're going to work on the bus because you're not doing it. You're not doing the vlogs anymore.
Oh, okay. No, I don't. Yeah. EFC. So I'll. I might start doing some of them Mad Mag. Yeah, definitely, mate. Listen, I'll tell you how it is. I don't sugarcoat anything. I just see how it is. I've been supporting Arsenal since 1987. Yeah, well said, mate. Well said. Ronald says, I hope Darren Foley does a take on Arteta. Surely don't miss that one. Tony, don't mention Pickford. No, I just mentioned it as a thing about Jorginho because I got into the Jorginho thing. I just said, you know, obviously, yeah, I know I don't like him. But I say it's got to give props EFC at least. You have your head screwed on, mate. Arteta and majority of the fan base think it was our fault that bar and the ref gave the goal. All we did was kept playing. You play to the whistle, and that's exactly what we did. We played to the whistle. And, you know, that's why the linesmen keep their flags down because of FVR do it now. You know, as that happened at Brighton last season when Wilson scored, the only reason VAR didn't check it because the referee blew his whistle before the ball went in the net. Oh, I thought you said you were getting a bus and listening to the watch along. Sorry, misheard you. Yeah, no, that was Julie who was mentioning that. I was reading that comment out. No worries, mate. Paul says, was laughing when they said 3 reasons to give the goal, but it was not also 3 reasons to try and disallow the goal. Even Carragher said the goal had to stand. Now Julie's on her way home on Tuesday, Mad Mag. She has gotten there in the end. At that time, I'll be on the bus, yes. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, for me, there was a lot of good players out there. Pope had subtle to do and goal, really. Not being funny, I mean, look. And that's the way you want it. I mean, look, there was a lot of good performances yesterday. the only downside, and look, there was one downside yesterday to that game, and it's I'm not being negative. I'm just saying it is a downside because it's such a bloody shame. This guy, Jacob Murphy, his shoulder popped out again. It needs surgery by the looks of it now. If it's popping out like that, it needs surgery. We hope he gets the surgery and we wish him well. Yes, he's going to be missing for a few months if he is out, but do you know what? Just get it sorted, get yourself back, Jacob, and we'll look forward to seeing you when you get back in a black and white shirt on that pitch again. But maybe he was brought in too soon. I do not know. But but yesterday, I thought we played really well yesterday. I look at who do I give man the match to. I mean, there were so many good performances out there. I mean, Bruno was aggressive, but, got a yellow card eventually. Even though Fabio Vieira tried to claim it was in his face, but it was nowhere near his face. Doesn't he realise that if Bruno had got a red card, that the referee would have been sent them on to by VAR, because VAR would have said it's not a red card, it's a yellow card. So I think these players seem to forget that there's cameras around the pitch. Do you know what? I think for his energy, for his running yesterday, I'm going to give it Anthony Gordon, man of the match. I thought he was outstanding again. Followed closely by Miggy, of course, because Miggy was everywhere running around. I think that's why he got taken off, just to conserve some energy for Tuesday. But for me, I think Anthony Gordon was man of the match. What about you, Roly?
I'm not going to agree with you on that one. I think there's one guy that stood out for me. Is actual captain, club captain, Jamal Lascelles. I thought he was immense. He won everything that came his way. He won. His distribution was good. He looked so assured on the ball now. The others that pushed him close, I think Gordon had a good game, scored the goal. Joe Lint had a good game
as well, yeah.
Yeah. Sean Longstaff I thought he had a good game, but for me it goes to Jamal Lascelles.
Yeah. Yeah, look, Lascelles had a great game yesterday. Yeah, even Joe Linton. It's hard to pick a man of the match, really, because I thought everybody played well. The whole team played well as a unit. If you could just pick a team of the match, then you'd pick team of the match, wouldn't you? But yeah, if I could pick a man of the match, like for two, I would definitely have picked Joe Linton and Gordon. But I thought Gordon, because he took the goal well, thought he done well. He's tracking back as well. And I just thought he just played well, and you can see what a difference in a player Gordon is compared to what he was when he was at Everton. He looks a hell of a better player now.
Because that's Everton poached all the Everton out of him.
Yeah, we've got rid of that now, haven't we? So, in fact, you know what? I've changed my mind. I'm going to give it to Joe Linton instead. I thought for his passion at the end as well when he got that throw in as well. I thought that was absolutely fantastic. And we saw the passion from him, the way he was roused up about it, celebrating a later goal. So actually, I've changed. I'm going to Joe Linton rather than Anthony Gordon, although it's very close between them. And so my man of the match is J7.
I'm still sticking with Jamal Lascelles. I just thought that he literally won everything that came his way. His pass was superb. And then just remember that when Havertz that horror challenge on Longstaff. Jamal was one of the first people over there having words with Havertz. So.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean, I've got, yeah, it's a difficult one, but as I say, I've got to go. I'm going Joe Linton.
Yeah, that's
because
fine.
I just think
it's all about opinions. We don't have to agree.
Yeah. Right. So I've got the next award coming up now anyway. Right.
Oh.
The only thing is, this is a very hard one. So I'll explain this. So this award is Cock of the Week. Now then, Cock of the Week is what we know what Cock of the Week's for. Who's a total cock? Now then, unfortunately, because I haven't been able to narrow this down to just one person, I've had to share this award. So this award's been shared to 3 different people. So the 3 people are, here we go. First one, Arteta. The next one is Kai Havertz. And Cock of the Week also goes to Stuart Atwell as well. So I couldn't narrow it down to one because there was too many contenders. So the 3 that's Cock of the Week is Stuart Atwell, Kai Havertz, and Mikel Arteta. There we go. That's Cock of the Week. Would you agree with them, Roly?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have no problem with those 3.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's just get to some comments before we wrap up. Right, let's see what's being said. Teledratt to get his foot down. I was shocked at Carragher Neville. Yeah, absolutely. Drivers never put their foot down. Brett says, exactly, Tony. We kept playing, and if you look at the replays, Arsenal player stopped. And only when the ball gets crossed in did they move again, but it was too late. Now to do with our lads that, no. Mad Mag talking to Julie. Sai says we were absolutely outstanding. Concrete performance, especially after the first 45, absolutely. Julie says, I usually go upstairs for a decent seat. Carragher's quite nice about the tune at the minute, yeah. Ronald says, Pickford reassuring Mackhams despite Washington being half and half. Wouldn't gan the tune. We didn't ever want the daft twat. No, absolutely wouldn't be coming back. Wouldn't come to us. John says, Pope was blessed. Predator says, Murphy should never have been declared himself fit, but I hope he gets surgery and comes back quick. Yeah. David says, one time seen, sure, keep up the good work. Tony and Toon beat Dortmund 2-1. Cheers, David. Thank you very much. Wayne says, couple of months, Tony, for Murphy. Gutted for the lad, absolutely. Bloody hate Buster says Predator. Yeah, me too. Between Gordon Lascelles or J7 for me, still haven't chosen one. Murphy's been phenomenal this season. Yes, he has. Lascelles won the match. Joe Linton close second for me, says Ronald. Yeah. Sai says, man the match. Lascelles. Hashtag Captain Marvellous. Paul says Lascelles was class. Gordon man the match, says Splat. Predator says he's been great looking back to what he was when Bruce was in and what he produces under anyhow. Just amazing how much he's come on. Yeah. Gary says, Tony, it's getting harder to pick a man the match for every game. Everyone deserves it, absolutely.
That's true.
David says, I thought Lascelles was brilliant. My man the match, followed by Big Joe, back to his best, absolutely. Yeah. Wayne says, I'm giving Gordon close call with Lascelles, though he was solid, but Gordon got the winner, and that's the only reason. But they were all great. Absolutely. My man the match goes to the ref. Never seen anyone fuck a game of football up so badly. So 11-10 for the monumental bell end of a ref, says Predator. John says, well done, Roly. I agree with you. What a transformation. Shaw man the match for me. So Ian's gone for the Shawminator. So when's the next show, boys? Tomorrow? Possibly, yes. Gordon man the match for me. David says Lascelles back to being captain and taking the pressure off trips. That's easy. Arteta, says Paul. So does Julie. Or Stuart Atwell. Mr. DT. Kai Havertz. Bell end of the week is Arteta, says Ronald. The bell end shaft and bollocks, says Mag. I knew that, Tony. The Unholy Trinity. Yes, we've had them on here before. Nice lad, actually. Good lad from there, actually. He's not bad at all. Arteta. Kai Havertz, the headless chicken. Atwell, all day long. Havertz throws a red card in. Tackling and a dickhead. Books 3 of our players. A cock hat-trick, says Matt. Cock of the week, Arteta, Havertz and Atwell. Totally agree. And Rice for not knowing how to tie his laces. Predator says fucking Stevie Wonder would have been better ref than Atwell. Yeah. You know, that obviously when he said to his wife, well, I'll see you again. Sorry, that I shouldn't have said that. That's bad, isn't it? But we know. Predator says I'm going to see a 1-1 for Tuesday. As long as we avoid defeat, then I'll be happy. Yeah, absolutely. The lot with the C-U-N-T, says Sai. Good night, one and all. Take care. Yeah, you too. Gary, cheers, mate. Good night, Gary. Everybody's saying good night to Gary. Yeah, so guys and girls, look, what a great win we had yesterday. Fantastic. Villa got beat today, which was absolutely a bonus. Also, the fact that Liverpool grew as well. They were close to losing that game.
Almost lost that one.
But, you know, I'm just waiting to see what Villa Watch puts out about Villa, see if he puts anything out there. You know, even VAR had the cheek to check the offside for Forest's goal, you know, to see if it was offside or not, the one that Martinez made an arse of. So, yeah. But it didn't go nowhere because it was definitely onside. But if you have liked what you see and you haven't yet smashed that like, then please do before you go. It just takes 1 second. That would be great. Thank you. Also, if you're brand new to the channel, come and smash the subscribe, be part of this great community, and that bell notification tells you when I'm live, have a pre-record, or any upcoming shows as well. Got some more comments here. Night, guys. Thanks. Cheers, John. Thank you very much. Rice, another cock of the week, says Julie. Yeah, there's plenty, isn't there? But I thought they were the main three anyway. Night, lads. Take care. You too, Wayne. Great show, guys, as always. Cheers, Ian. Thank you very much. Splat says, excellent show, as always, guys. Cheers, Splat. Thank you, mate. Martinez is definitely a head case. Absolutely, Julie, isn't he? Just great shows, guys. Cheers, Julie. Night, lads. Great show. How are you, the lads? Yeah, you too, Si. Cheers, mate. Thank you very much. Mad Max says, night all. Absolutely cracking show, as always. Everyone, TV, and see you in the next one. Take care and see you in the next one. Yeah, you too, mate. Cheers. Thank you very much, Mad Mag. Night, everyone. Stay safe. Yeah, you too. Nice to see you, mate. Nice to see you. Eyelashes won 5-0 as well. Excellent. Ronald says, how are you, Newcastle? Let's get a result at Dortmund to sicken the sad bin tip us. Yeah, absolutely. That yellow wall on Tuesday, yeah. That's going to be a tough game, but, you know, who knows? And everybody else saying good night to each other. And, yeah. But always remember, the future's bright. The future is definitely black and white. And, you know, onwards and upwards. And we look forward to Tuesday. So it's bye-bye from me.
It's goodbye from me.
How are you, the lads?